So again, I'm recording this live. Today I want to discuss how people, older people like me, I am doing a live. I'm sorry, I apologize. I actually lost connectivity because I live on a farm, and I reconnected to my phone, so there's stability. So today what I really want to talk about is how companies, due to DOGE, are cutting people and entire contracts. My entire contract got cut, not this Monday, the previous Monday. About 156 of us lost our jobs. So what I'd like to talk about today is what we can do. People being over, we're not in the youngest category anymore, but we do have years of experience, so people over 40 or even in their 30s can do to help us find jobs and new careers. We're not at the retirement age. We are not at 65. We are at the age that we still have bills. Our children have left the house, but now we're trying to enjoy our time and buy our items and pay off our houses and cars so that we can get to our retirement age. I would love to have interaction in the chat if you have any questions. I worked for the Department of Defense for 20 plus years. Then I turned and started work for the USDA for the last 3 years. There were huge cuts for the USDA, which cut my billet, and like I said, 156 other people lost their jobs. These companies don't have places to put their people who are being cut. So we're being pushed back out into the career atmosphere, and some of us haven't done this in years. We've had positions. So how do we update our resumes? How do we get ourselves out there? Who do we talk to? Because there's so many people that are charging for services, and we have no idea where to go. I've been seeing a lot of items in my, hey Courtney, in my LinkedIn profile that are asking me to pay for services. I don't want to pay for services. I can't afford to pay for services. We've been laid off. So what do we do? There's so many options for us. Indeed, LinkedIn, they are great options, but the market is being flooded. So if you go into LinkedIn and you go to apply for a position, you can clearly see that every time I go to apply, over 100 people have already applied. I applied this morning. The job was out there for 22 minutes, and I was already applicant number 65. So how do we reach out to people? We want to talk to a human. We being of the older generation, we don't want to just keep slapping out our resumes and praying that somebody's going to take a look at it. So what do? So for LinkedIn, we need to look for specific recruiter names. Now, LinkedIn is doing this thing where we have to pay, but we get 30 days for free for some of the recruiters. I look for the recruiters I know. So, for instance, I have a recruiter from a company called CNI I worked for, 15 years ago, who still remembers who I am. So I reached out to her specifically. Now I've added a bunch of career moves and positions to my resume. So what I did was I sent it directly to her. Resume writing isn't as hard as you think it is. If you want me to take a look at your resume or you're in the career field, I'm going to put my email address in the chat here. And please feel free to send me a copy of your resume. I will look at it for free. There is no reason that anyone should be charging for the service. Now, if you need to have it reformatted, that's something else we could talk about. But there are so many examples out there that you shouldn't have to pay somebody as long as you can sit down at your computer and take the time to do it. Now, I know that there's a lot of other people, truck drivers, warehouse workers, other positions that are getting cut from DOGE that don't have that ability. And maybe hiring a resume writer, or even just asking your friends and family. You know, somebody in your family can probably assist you in writing a resume. They've done it. Especially younger college students that are just coming out of school, they're taking these classes. I know this because when I was a teacher, I taught those classes. So these kids are coming out well armed, and we are not being well armed going back into our career fields. So my number one step for people that are without positions, definitely go look for recruiter names. Look for the company, and then see if you can't find a recruiter within that company that you can speak to one-on-one. That human contact makes a huge difference. Once the recruiter gets to know you and your personality and what you've done in your career path, you will be able to find a position. They will help you. Also, recruiters talk to other recruiters at other companies so they can pass your information along. Anytime I apply for a position, I email or follow up with that recruiter. I will actually go back and send an email to that recruiter. Most recruiters, if you find them on LinkedIn, you will be able to find an email for them or a phone number. Reach out to them. Don't be afraid. We have to step up our game because we don't have all of these other, we're not right out of college. We're not, they think that we're not as hungry for a career and a position as the younger generation. But what I've seen in my past career especially, we are more hungry, and the people that are coming out of college, they are being taught wrong. They don't have the work ethic that we, as people who've been in the business for a long time, have. And that is something that we need to push for. We need to find our stepping stone so that we can move above the younger generation. Also, another big thing is we need to talk about how we go about getting what we deserve and pay. So I had a job that came to me by a recruiter the other day. I don't know this recruiter personally. The recruiter said, hey, I've got this position, it's remote, it's $13 an hour. For me, I can't afford $13 an hour. My first IT position was $16 an hour, and that was back in 2003. So I will pass those jobs to people that I know. See, we have to connect with others. We have to help others, and in return, they will help us. So if you know somebody that's looking for a job that can take that $13 an hour right out of technical school, send it to them. Let them try for the position. Reach out to the recruiter and say, hey, I have a position that would be something great for you. This is something that you could look at in the future. You will enjoy this job. Okay, don't just disregard it. The more people that we can reach and help, the more people will get to know us. Maybe that person who gets hired will hear in their company that they're looking for a project manager or a business analyst or a scrum master or something that is in our wheel range. That with that being said, then we can move forward and apply for those positions, and we have somebody within the job, within the company, that we can put on that resume. And if they're a good worker, then they will recommend you. You know, recommendations are huge now. Everybody, everybody needs recommendations and people within companies to get a job. I mean, out of 100 applicants, what's the possibility that you're going to be pulled? 0.1%. It depends on, are they looking for people with experience? Are they just looking for people that'll match a salary? I saw a video on LinkedIn yesterday, and it was a recruiter who came to a person and said there was no pay on the job, and that we could see. So what happened was the person was talking to the recruiter, and the recruiter asked him, how much are you willing to take? And you know, it's like you don't want to say too much because you won't get that position. You don't want to under, because then you'll end up with that salary and it's worthless. So the gentleman said 70. I'm willing to take 70, which was a good amount for the position he was going for. And she's like, oh, the position is less than that. And he said, okay, well, I'm willing to take 60. And she said, well, really the position's at 50. And he's, you know, he thought about it, and he needs a job, and he's got a family, and he needs insurance. And he says, okay, I'll take it at 50. Well, further down the line, after he's been working there a year, he gets to see what his billet was worth. And it was at 75. But see, the recruiter was happy to go back to that company and go, look, I got this great employee. We got him at 50. And, you know, the bill was 75, you guys saved 25,000. It's like they work together to underball us, the employee. And that isn't right either. We should be paid what we deserve. I tell a lot of people to go out and look at what job you're applying for and how much that job is out in the network, right? So I live in Georgia. How much is a job in Georgia as a TPM or a program manager or a scrum master or a BA, whatever your position is, even if it's a warehouse worker, you should know what we are going for. Hey, Codex, no, we are actually talking about getting positions out in the job market right now. The job market is super tight, and we are working on trying to get new positions and what's the best way to go about it and to get the position that you actually want and deserve as people are looking for new careers. So moving forward with that, another thing that we need to talk about is, you know, what company do you want to work for? What is the importance to your situation? Is it health insurance? Because companies don't always offer health insurance. I need health insurance. I have a family. Joe, who is just a single person, might not need health insurance and is able to go and get, you know, the insurance that the government offers. Wonderful. But we need a 401k. We're not going to have Social Security, right? We're at the age, I'm 47. And by the time I retire, I think they just moved it up to 67 as retirement, full retirement age. I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to have a, retirement unless I have a 401k. So we're all looking for what 401ks match, how much, what percentage, how many years have you done it? And then also, where is the money right now? Where is the money for contractors? So, DOGE just did all of these cuts across the board. We have cuts for USDA, we've got cuts for the school systems, we have cuts for DFACs, we have cuts for everything pretty much across the board, with the exception of the Department of Defense. So if you're looking for a career move and you're a contractor, go towards the Department of Defense. Yeah, a lot of people have to go back on site, but they're still offering a lot of remote jobs. I applied for a job as close to me at one of the bases. I've worked at this base for 20 years before I took this remote position and COVID hit. So this will be the first time if I get the position, I'm going back to the base, but it's okay. It's okay to go back to work. I miss seeing people every day. I've been in 110 meetings, and the meetings are, you've got to message these people and find out where they're coming from, and it's so much easier to poke your head into the next office and go, hey John, what does this mean? What does this document you just handed me mean? What do I need to do with it? And John comes over and says, okay, Shelley, I need this, and this done. And that's okay. That's okay. So there are positions, and you just need to know where to go. Like I said, the Department of Defense is a great place. The only thing is you need a security clearance, which means you need to have money, or they're going to put out money for you to get a secret security clearance. So you're going to need to make sure that your background is clean. Don't go for a job and have, you're arrested for domestic violence for the Department of Defense. They're not going to let you get that position. So, and if you're holding a Department of Defense clearance right now, you are a shoe-in. You are up a step. I used to have a secret security clearance. Now I have a public clearance. And that still helps. So a contracting company will give you priority over other contractors if you're holding a clearance, because that's $10,000 that they're saving in their pocket. Everyone that needs a clearance is at least $10,000. That means background checks. You've got to go through the different departments through the Department of Defense. You need your fingerprints done. You need to make sure you've got a clean driving record, et cetera, et cetera. So you definitely want to make sure that your driving record is clean and your background is clean. Another thing that is super important for getting a contracting position is you willing to travel, right? They probably 3 or 4 times a year, you'll have to travel to, depending on what position you get, to other bases, to meet the clients, to go to Washington, D.C., to meet your company, because most of them are based out of Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., etc. But you will probably have to travel a little bit. And as long as you're willing to do that, you can get a position with the Department of Defense. And it's not that difficult. They do require, I've got 2 different resumes, actually. I have a Department of Defense resume, and then I also have just a regular resume for private companies. So if I wanted to go get a management job at Walmart or Target, I would be able to do that. I apologize. So are there any questions? Is there anything anyone wants to discuss that I can help you guys with that are out there that need a job, that need assistance or help in any way? Because that's why some people are here. I don't charge for my services. I just want to try to help and reach out to as many people as I can. I mean, this is a huge epidemic right now, and people are getting laid off left and right. I mean, thousands and thousands of people. I heard that 6,000 people got laid off of government jobs. I know my company laid off 156. Contracts are being cut. People are being displaced. How about unemployment? So, how do we do unemployment? As soon as you get laid off, Go and file for your unemployment. That is money that you deserve. As long as you've worked 4 quarters, which is a year, because what unemployment does is look back quarterly to see how much you worked, you'll be able to hit your unemployment for your state. I mean, that's what companies pay for. Don't short yourself. Don't say, well, I'm going to get a job tomorrow. I'm not going to go ahead and apply for unemployment. It doesn't matter if you get a job or not. You need that money to survive. Our economy is ridiculous right now. Money is worthless. I mean, people are not paying, are paying too much for vegetables, eggs, meat, everything. I mean, it's just becoming ridiculous. It will get better. I do have faith it's going to get better. I know it will. But right now, we're in the hardest time of our lives, and we have to fight for what we want. And being older than the new people coming out of college, we need to be hungry. We need to fight for what we want. In one day, I applied for over 150 jobs. I stopped applying on Indeed and go to the company site and apply for jobs now. Here's how I feel about that. I'm thinking, if I apply for a position, instead of me being in a bucket full of 100 people, because people are lazy, right? So when it says LinkedIn, easy apply, you click that, you're all done, 2 seconds, you can apply to the next 10. Instead of doing that, go out to the company site, make it more personable. If you have letters of recommendations, add those. That's another thing. Before you leave, even if your contract is cut and you only have 1 day to get out of there, because that's what happened to us. We were cut on Friday, told on Friday, Monday was our last day. The first thing I did was request letters of recommendation. Without those, you know what you're doing at work, but the next company doesn't know except for what you put in your resume. If you have documentation to back up this data, you're going to land a job above the person who just put in their resume. They want personable, they want to know you're a real person. That's another thing that I've been looking at, is that AI and people applying for positions, and they're not even real people. They're not even the people applying. I did see that at one of the companies I worked with. The person that applied for the job got the job 6 months later, because they didn't do daily face-to-face meetings, realized it wasn't the same person who was hired. That is terrifying. Terrifying, especially if you're working on a government contract. They have to do better. People have to be vetted better. I mean, they probably passed up 3 other people that were way qualified for these positions, and took this person who wasn't even a real person. So, I mean, there are things that are going on in this world right now that are crazy, and AI is taking off. And if that is something that you want to look into, if you go out to Google, they actually have free courses in AI, free courses for business analysts. My resume, my certificates are half a page. And the reason that they are is because you have to maintain what's going on in the world. You have to get certified. People want that certification. People want to know that you are still out there looking. They want a PMP. I'm a project manager, and they want a PMP. I have not gotten my PMP, and I'm not going to get my PMP, because to me, that piece of paper is not worth it, and I'm not paying $4,000 to get that piece of paper. I'm sorry. But if you had a company that was willing to pay for it, that would be worth it. That would be worth it. Also, get your college education. I have got my master's degree in IT project management, which is another reason I don't feel that I need to go get my PMP. I've learned all the classes. I've taken them. I've motivated myself, but go back to college. If you don't have any college education, or you are in between jobs and you want to go ahead and expand it, go out there and get your college education. Get it done and apply for those jobs. Reach out. The most important things I need everybody to take away from here is make sure when you're applying for positions, you're reaching out to recruiters, not just slapping your resume up on Indeed, or LinkedIn or Indeed or any of those. Reach out to them. They have email addresses visible. They have phone numbers visible. Instead of just applying simply at LinkedIn, go to the company's website and apply. That is 10 times more viable for you to get a job than just being shoved into a bucket of 1,000 people. Okay. Then also, make sure you know your worth. Going into interviews, make sure you know your worth, because you don't want to be lowballed and you don't want to ask too much. Another great question when they ask you, what is your salary range? You can always say, what is the pay range that you're offering? By doing that, you will then have an idea of what the job is worth. And if you're even going to be able to survive off that amount of money. Just stay focused, stay positive. This isn't, it's part of life. It happens to us. Some people I know were working for 20 years and got laid off. It's going to be okay. Our lives aren't ending, they're just beginning. We need to look at it as it's a new adventure. When one door closes, my mom said, one door opens. Best advice ever. And it does. It opens up a whole new world. So say you don't want to go back into your IT field. Say you want to go teach. Look at teaching jobs. They're always looking for college professors, especially if you've got a bachelor's degree. If you have a bachelor's degree and you're in finance, they'll hire you, especially for technical school. You don't have to have a school background. You just have to have a background in your field that you're going to teach. So, there are other options, and do what's right for you. Figure out what you can afford. Don't undercut yourself. Make sure that you are getting your worth, right? Don't take on a job that you're cross-functional and you're taking on this project management position, you're working across 10 other teams, you've got to have documents daily, and they're paying you $40,000. Don't do that to yourself. Make sure that you're finding your worth, the amount of money you need to survive. Anything else I can think of that would really benefit you guys? Like I said, just to recap, make sure that you have somebody look over your resume. I put my email address in the chat in case anyone needs me to look at their resume. Ask your family, your kids. Most of your kids have taken a resume writing class, believe it or not. Even in high school, they're teaching this. We were not taught that in high school. We had to fight for that. Just take the time. Take the time and do the research. Research your company. Research what you want out of this life. Because we're not going to be here forever. We are not going to be here forever. We need jobs. We need to eat. We need to feed our kids. We need to feed our husbands. We need to feed our wives. And at least you could do something you really want to do. All right, I hope this helped everyone a little bit more. I'm hoping to do this again tomorrow with some new information. As I learn, I'm going to let everyone else know what's going on out there. And I really hope y'all enjoyed this and hope to talk to y'all soon. Thank you. Have a great day. Good luck on your job hunt, and reach out to me if you need anything. Bye.